and welcome to my kitchen. Now, as we are living off grid, I love the idea of a little bit of homesteading, and one of the things that I do is bake our own bread. Now, in my bread there is this is my sourdough starter, and you mix that with the flour and water and a little bit of salt, and that is it. Very, very, very simple. Okay, so let's start. I've got a big mixing bowl and I've got my sourdough starter. I have fed it yesterday evening. So now, do you see that? Can you see that? Just so the rim. Scoop it in my bowl. And as you see, there's just a nice blob in there. Now, I've just got one of these measuring things always in my bin with flour. And I've got my kettle here. Yeah, the water is lukewarm. It's not very cold out of the tap, but it's not boiling hot either. It's a live culture what you've got there, so you don't want to cook them to death. And for now, just 1 cup. Here, now I'm going to mix it just to loosen up the starter. See, just using the back of the spoon. Yeah, now, can you see? It's nicely dissolved. Oh, can you see it? Yeah, it's nicely dissolved. So you can see this is now all dissolved, and put that in the starter glass. And now I'm just going to scoop 3, and see, this is just as it comes into my cup. That is 1, 2, and 3. So I'm not going to put the salt in until later. And now I'm just going to mix, 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 mix. Nothing fancy, just with the back of the spoon. And mix it in. Yeah, so I'm going to put a little bit more water in. So again, just a little bit. And this is a little bit the consistency that I'm after. Yeah, but I'll come back to you when I'll do a little bit more with the dough. So, good morning. It's the day after I've made the sourdough bread, or at least the dough. Now, yesterday evening between 10 and 10:30 in the evening, the dough was actually ready to shape and a bit late to film. How you know that your dough is ready is basically that it is as wobbly as the old-fashioned jello. Remember those? If you put them on a plate, they shake all over the place. If your dough is about it like that, then it is ready to shape. I did not forget to put the salt in. My little cup was sitting there very nicely, so I've put my salt in. And what I do then is just very, very gently just knead that dough or fold that dough into itself, and then try to shape it into a nice little sausage, so it goes into the bread, tin it is not, the silicone mold. Goes into a plastic bag, and it has been in the fridge overnight. That is basically to not stop the fermentation, but because of the cold it is not fermenting as hard. Otherwise it would be like a watery blob at the moment. But it is nice and stiff but pliable, and it has a nice texture to it. Now what's going to happen now? It's going to go into the oven for me about 30 minutes. I've got the oven on to 180 degrees Celsius. You can range a bit between 180 and 200. It all depends what kind of oven you have. I've got a very old fickle gas oven. If I don't do it a specific way, it won't work. So whatever works is going for me. If you've got an electric oven, a fan oven, an oven that can also moisture everything, then you'll have to find your own temperature that is going to work for you. Now, I've got one fail-safe tip for you, and I found that online, is I've got a little temperature measure thingy that I put after 30 minutes into the bread. And now, because it's a nice round number, I am waiting for 200 Fahrenheit. No idea what that is in Celsius, although I am European and everything is Celsius for me. Because of the nice round number 200, that's how I can remember it. So 200 Fahrenheit is the temperature that I know that the bread absolutely is baked on the inside. So there is no guesswork there. What I'm going to do now, a couple of little things before it goes into the oven. First of all, the oven is now preheated. I am going to scar the loaf. So I'm going to scar it first of all. Just with my bread knife, do you see that? I'm just going to cut it in. And that is the beauty from having it in the fridge for a while, although it stood outside now for an hour about. And you can see that there is some scoring lines, but also that they are already closing back up again. Now, the next thing what I'm going to do is I've just got the kettle boiled. I have a little tin here. Yeah. I'm going to wet the dough. It really likes a bit of moisture for the oven spring, as they say. First of all, I'm wetting the dough. Not too much. Now, I'm going to place this in the oven, and I'm going to put that dish, which has now steaming water in it, also in the oven. That keeps the steam going, and I'm going to leave it in for about 10-15 minutes. if you can see that. I'm not quite sure, but these I'm going to cut in again. Yeah, that makes it room, gives it more room for expansion. Okay, quick, get it back into the oven again. Now, here we go. The alarm for 30 minutes, the bread, the sourdough bread in the oven has gone off. So I've got my trusted temperature measure thingy ready. See the prong? And like I said, it's an easy number to remember. It's for me 200, nice and round, no commas, no uneven, blah, blah, blah. But it's Fahrenheit. Now this one you can change between Fahrenheit and Celsius for other things, like when I make my lotions and potions, which will be coming up next. But for this one, it is set on Fahrenheit. I'm going to take the bread out of the oven. I'm going to put it here down, and hopefully together we can read the temperature of the bread. Here we go. It is starting to brown already. So what I'm going to do is now just stick it in and see what the temperature is. It's 160. 166, but it is not climbing that much. I am going to go to 190, 200, so it's going to be back in the oven. Turn it around and back in it goes. And here it is, fresh out of the oven. Let's test it one last time. I don't know if you can see that, but it even goes further than the 200. It says 208. Fine, good. You know me by now. That is good enough. Wonderful. Now, I'm going to take it out. Still have the mold here. I have a little splash screen with holes in it. And listen. Can you hear that? Nice and hollow. And even though we've made the expansion on the top, do you see that the bread is broken here? So it still needed more actually to expand. Now what I'm going to do now is I have my trusted brushy thingy. And I've got some olive oil. This is local olive oil. It doesn't have a name. It is just from a local dairy farm, basically. And they have their own olive oil as well. So I have that, nice and local. And I'm just going to drizzle that over and spread it evenly. It just gives it a nicer, softer crust. And a nice colour. So now this I can cut in within an hour. And that means for lunchtime we have a very nice fresh bread. For now it is still warm, it is still cooking inside, so to speak, a little bit. I'm going to cover it over so it isn't drying out, even with the olive oil, and I'll show you what the end result is. Now, the bread has rested for about an hour or maybe a bit more. So let's cut in, and it is still a little bit warm. Look at that. So, welcome to my way of sourdough bread making, but I'm going to have a slice now.
So that's the trusty strimmer. It's done some work, that, and it's not an expensive strimmer, but it does. So this is had a this is leftover. This is leftover cuttings from all of this damage done, these eucalyptus, etc., and this was damage done when the storm came through here. So it's left this tree, it knocked this woodshed down, it actually flattened our little greenhouse, our polytunnel basically. It flattened it, but we've got it standing back up. But if you look at those eucalyptus, you can see the eucalyptus there. That one, there's one leaning on a cork oak there, but it's leaning on there. There's a lot of weight, and that could move at any time. But this has just had a rough cut basically, so we can see what's going on in here. So like I say, it is just a rough cut, but it's okay. It was very long grass. It's not completely the first cut of the year, because Jen did this a little bit the other day with the electric strimmer, but there's a lot of these. This is just, it looks a lot better. So what we've got round the garden here, it looks a mess. It's a real mess because of this storm and damage. We've got to sort all of this out. What a mess. We've got yuccas. Jen's planted yuccas round here. There was nothing planted around here. These yuccas and things, they're growing. And I'll have to have a good tidy up here. I've got grass in these red cabbage, or cabbage and mixture of cabbage actually. This is a big yucca. Look at that one. That's grown from nothing. So it's looking not so bad. This used to be just lawn. We had lawn with the lawnmower, but this one here, gonna have to be tidied up. This is actually a blueberry. We've never had anything off it, but it does actually all come into bud. It's starting to bud now. When you look at this, slightly, it's starting to put buds on again now. Looking further into the garden, this one has been planted by Jen. Planted this one. This is a lemon tree. That's lemon, and we'll I don't know whether we'll get lemon off that. I don't know. And over here, this is actually a little peach tree, and would you believe it, we have had peaches off this. It's looking nice at the minute. I'm going to have to tidy up all around here, of course. I've left to tidy all this up. I can't remember what that one is, but we've got stuff here. Another like yucca. And this one is pear, but more like them stewing pears. I'm not sure of the exact name now, but it's just like stewing pears. This one, same. Some more cabbage here. We'll have to have a clean up with that. And this one is, would you believe, it's an olive tree. We hacked this back, but this actually will come to again and grow and produce olives for sure. But it was getting to be a bit overgrown. So when you look like this, it's looking much nicer. If we could ignore this and the mess of it in that corner because of the storm, it doesn't look so bad actually. This one, without going too bright into the sun, this one is a fig tree, and there are shed loads of figs come off that one. Now this is an old raised bed that Jen made a couple of years ago now, a few years, and this has actually got garlic in it, and we do get garlic out of here. Okay, so that's my little adventure. I've done a few other jobs, but this is one that needed done today, and it's a fairly nice day, and I believe it's going to rain tomorrow. So, all good, sorted. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much. Bye bye.